The Colville Air Force Station near Colville, Washington, was first established in 1950 as a Cold War Air Force radar station and was manned by the 760th Squadron. The station had two missions. The early warning mission involved tracking and identifying all aircraft entering their airspace, while the GCI mission involved guiding Air Force interceptors to any identified enemy aircraft. The 760th Radar Squadron was discontinued in 1961, and the Colville Air Force Station was abandoned. What the official documentation doesn't tell you about is the history of Sasquatch activity that the 760th Squadron experienced while on duty at the base. In the summer of 2021, Sasquatch researchers, Will Ulmer, Beans Baxter, and Aaron of Wibbs, came together for a weekend campout in what has become known as the Radar Dome Research Expedition. Their initial intent was to camp at Little Twin Lakes, but camping at Little Twin Lakes was not to be.
So we got all loaded up and we headed out here back to Stevens County. And as you can see, hazards exist. So we can't stay here. We're going to go to another spot that Will Ulmer from Bigfoot of Stevens County is recommending. And we're going to try that spot. It's part of his Sasquatch Alley, which is very close to this spot. Hopefully we'll have some luck there, but I was pretty bummed. I was looking forward to coming back here and kind of facing my fears. I got pretty scared last time we were here and wanted to show them who's boss, but alas, it's not to be. Maybe I'll get scared over at the new spot. We'll see.
Will Ulmer of Bigfoot of Stevens County suggested a location that he had often camped at, a place where he had several unusual Sasquatch encounters. This parking lot was once for buildings containing the office and barracks of the base. After setting up camp, there is just enough time left before dark for a short hike.
This is the same area that my tent got picked up, and we heard vocalizations and multiple woodknocks. So with that scream earlier today, it should be pretty cool. Marshall's filming me right now. So there he is. So we're just heading down the road and see what we see, and hopefully we'll have something.
What is that? Like a whale or something? Supposedly there's fallout shelters around here. This is our old military.
This is a good candidate for something's underneath.
There's more old scat. Looks like a cow pie.
Yeah, we got a tree broken here going across this trail. This is still green and it's broken. I mean, it could just be natural, but I don't know. So it looks like we got some more possible obstructions. Interesting.
Lots of fresh tree breaks across a path or roadway is sometimes an indicator of Sasquatch in the area.
There's a lot of trees across this trail.
Yeah.
Like more than you would think. Yeah, but they're coming from both sides. It's not like one side's
Yeah.
If one side was elevated, I'd see the trees falling.
Well, sometimes on a trail, like the trees get heavy on one side because it goes towards the light. You know, they have like most of the branches on one side, and then that pulls it down.
So we went from thinking this was a game trail to a livestock trail to now we found a culvert. So it's a man-made trail. Going for that tree right behind the mushroom.
What I like to do when I'm out hiking on trails like this is try to do as many wood knocks, maybe a couple calls, just to try to entice something to follow me back to camp, because I'd rather have it in my camp than being stuck out here with it.
A big part of searching for Sasquatch is listening. After knocking on a tree, the group takes a few minutes to listen for any kind of response.
Heard something back there, but it sounded like birds. You know, so many enthusiasts and researchers will say that they think that knocks coincide with, you know, like you enter an area and the Bigfoot knocks and it's some kind of signal, and you know that may be true, and I understand why they would come to that conclusion, but again, that's us inserting ourselves into their world. You know, we're important, so the Bigfoot has to announce us. It might not have anything to do with us, you know. I mean, just because we're there to hear it doesn't necessarily mean it's meant for us or directed at us or, you know, has anything to do with us. You know, and you know, there's been plenty of people that have placed recorders out in the woods that have captured knocks when nobody was around.
So we're going to try to be a Bigfoot. We're going to knock down a tree, even though it's a dead tree. But
Not all researchers agree that tree knocking is a good idea, but Will Ulmer has had some measure of success using it in the past.
Buddy and I went out there and did some camping, and we had the whole place to ourselves, and we started hearing wood knocks responding to us chopping firewood. So of course we knocked back, and that ended up, you know, turning into a long night. We eventually, I guess we attracted something in.
Beans and Will give the area a quick thermal scan before heading back to camp for the evening. After sunset, Will Ulmer sets up to do some call blasting. Aaron gets prepared for a night in the Selkirk Mountains, where grizzly bears are known to roam the forests.
It's just nice to have something for whatever you might encounter.
Well, the BFRO had a report here just last year. 2 hunters were camping up on this flat area close to the tree line, and they had reports of rocks being thrown at them. So it's pretty interesting, which I totally believe their report, because there is definitely tons of rocks around here that could be thrown. But this is a fairly active area. So this was back, I think it was in October when the report was filed.
I have spent a lot of time out at this remote cabin where there's a lot of activity that takes place, and one of the most interesting things was they had a skiff tied up, you know, in the water. It was tied up to the shore, and you know, there's a little bit of a rocky beach, and then just thick alders, and there was rocks coming out of the alders and hitting the skiff. They could hear it, you know, ting, is a metal boat, you know, ting, ting. They could, and the rocks were coming out of the woods and hitting the boat. What does that? You know, what animal can lob a rock with accuracy and hit a metal boat. You know, it's weird. I mean, you know, even if the rocks were coming straight out of the sky, maybe a bird dropped them, but to see them, come at an angle out of the woods and hit the boat, and then they go out there to get in the boat, and there's rocks in the boat.
Right.
It's bizarre.
So a couple years ago, I was camping at this location, and where Aaron's tent was exactly where my tent was set up, and my rig was parked exactly where his van is. We heard a vocalization about 30 minutes before we went to bed from that direction, and so we ended up going to bed. I'm laying in my tent, and within 15 minutes I could hear something walking across this ground, and it was like 2 feet, walk across here and come up to my tent. I could hear it bend down, and it reached underneath my tent, long reach, and it kind of just like lifted up my tent just a couple inches, which lifted up my air mattress with me on it, set me back down, moved to this side of the tent, and top of my tent got pressed in a little bit, but I heard it like sniff the air. It sounded like human nostrils, not like a bear or anything. I had my pistol drawn on it, didn't know what it was. Watch alarm goes off. I'm assuming that kind of spooked it or whatever, and it turned, came this way, tripped on my tie down, and pulled my entire tent with it. And I'm assuming it went down this little embankment here. And shortly after that, we were hearing some wood knocks over in this general area, and what I thought was voices of like a woman, like a sound of a woman talking, but I couldn't make out any of the words. But yeah, that all happened right here.
So where are we going today?
Okay, we're going up the road here, up to what we call the radar dome. It's an old Air Force radar facility back during the Cold War, so we're going to go check that out. So we're right now on top of a mountaintop. I think it's Green Mountain. I think it's what it's called, I think. Used to be an old radar facility back during the Cold War era, run by the Air Force. And there'd be one station every 50 miles apart, so they can relay radar information if Russia tried to invade over Canada. And now it's just a bunch of abandoned buildings, and it was classified. Couldn't even find it on Google Earth many years ago, but now you can see it on the maps, and people just come up here and just have a look around, and you can see a lot of graffiti, but it's a cool little place, a little history.
So the nest was in there? Or in here? Okay.
So were you up here playing paintball one day and found the nest?
It's a pretty good job.
This is the room where Will found the nest. There's a big collection of like boughs and leaves and sticks.
Well, when the Forest Service really tried their best to keep everyone out of here, where they actually blocked the roads for the time being, so nobody was able to get up here for the longest time, for at least 2 years. And when they finally opened it up, of course, we jumped on it to come up here. And that's when we found the nest, if it was a nest.
Yeah.
Took up, it's probably about yay big. Took up this whole corner, about yay high, just tons of cedar boughs just piled up. And I mean, it was at least that high, just huge, all right here in this corner.
And one time we had a guy get drunk, fall asleep, and his house burned down.
Well, over the years I've gotten a lot of, well, a handful of emails from retired military that were stationed up here back in the day. And they would say that they'd have Sasquatches running through their perimeter and moving along the fence line. There used to be a barbed wire fence that goes all the way around this place.
They will.
A couple more buildings, you guys want to see them?
Sure, might as well.
I paid for the deluxe.
This might have been a garage. Possibly.
Probably a motor home.
Hear that?
My stomach.
Oh.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Was that your stomach?
You hear the voices? I'm hearing something weird. Maybe there's other people here.
Look at that. Come on.
Somebody took their mask off.
What the hell? It was Bigfoot. Ridiculous.
They should have left it on. I mean, that's.
I don't know. I got more bent out of shape about that than I did all those beer cans, but
Yeah. That one?
Yeah, when I was camping up here one time, the tree wasn't broken. And I spent 3 days up here. And one early morning I was stoking the fire and I heard what sounded like a whistle, like a human whistle. You know, I was the only one up here. And then shortly after that I heard like hands clapping. And later on I came down, tree was broken, and
The little one right here?
yeah,
I mean, obviously it's still broken, but it hasn't fallen.
yeah.
And it looks like it was
Broke on top.
just bent over
yeah.
and about 8 feet high.
That's probably at least 9, maybe.
What do you guys think that is?
These are MREs.
Oh, MREs.
Yeah. See, that's the crackers that come with your military grade rations. These are some newer rations because I don't recognize that. Tortillas. That's one of the newer meals that I never got to try when I was young. But these are MRE heaters. You put your little entree in there, pour water up to that line that says do not overfill. The chemical reaction creates heat, warms up the meal.
And they would say that they'd have rocks thrown at their guard gate, and some of them, when they were on their days off, would head down to Black Lake, Little Twin Lakes, and they would describe hearing all these screams and knocks and having rocks thrown at them while they were fishing. So, a lot of little stories from up here.
How do you think Bigfoot survives out in the woods in such extreme temperatures?
Well, that's a good question because if Bigfoot exists, and then we're quite a bit alike. You know, we walk upright, we have, you know, hands and fingers and feet and toes. And if you or I was to stay in these woods over the winter, more than likely, even if it wasn't necessarily a harsh winter, more than likely we would probably, if not die, we would suffer quite a bit. You know, we wouldn't be very happy. There's a good chance we would lose some fingers and toes to frostbite. I think that probably they have some kind of extra layer of fat or a buildup under their skin that acts as an insulating layer. I have a theory that perhaps that insulating layer that Bigfoot has that keeps him alive in these harsh climates is possibly so tightly woven that it acts as a natural Kevlar, and that's why, you know, you hear all these stories about people shooting Bigfoot and it didn't seem to affect it. You know, again, it's a theory. I have no, you know, basis on that other than, you know, my own theories, but that's kind of what I think. It would explain how they're able to survive in harsh, cold climates, and it would explain how they seem to be able to shrug off gunfire.
So, where are the Little Twin Lakes? That general?
I want to say it's going to be that way.
Okay.
Not Jiu-Jitsu metal.
2.5 miles right there, that way?
Exactly the way we're facing.
Okay, yeah.
So all the activity and all the screams and knocks and stuff we were hearing while we were there came from that ridge right there.
There's where we cast that track. That's where our campsite was.
Oh, from the last night?
That blue dot, that blue arrow's us right now.
After discussing the areas of Sasquatch activity where evidence was found, they make plans for another hike down to where the officers' housing was located.
Man, you served it up. You got it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You like your eggs over easy, Will?
After refueling, they head out for the long hike.
We got a body.
Yeah. What kind of hair is that? Elk hair?
I think it's elk. Hey, look at the bones on that stump over there. Just like on TV. See, not every dead animal in the woods was killed by Bigfoot, right? When was elk season, Will?
Shit, I don't know. You filming, Marshall?
Yeah.
Now, years back, I used to be a dental technician. So, I had to study bite impressions of humans, you know, and come up with I had to create a working model and then match up the bite marks, and I did that for years. So I'm used to looking at bite impressions of humans. So every time I come across bones, I always have to examine and see if there's any possible human type marks on it. But all I'm seeing are some canine scrapes on here. So, because supposedly Bigfoot's supposed to have squarish human-like teeth, so, but I don't see anything on these. You can see where the canine's kind of scraped across here. So.
What are your thoughts on Bigfoot being aggressive?
Well, as far as aggressive Bigfoot goes, I think it probably comes down, especially in the differences between Pacific Northwest and Alaska. I think there's two factors. The first is population density. There's a lot more people down here in the Pacific Northwest than there are in Alaska. There's more people out in the woods. There's more people out and about. There's more chances for someone to run into a Bigfoot here than, say, in Alaska, where you have, you know, small population centers and then just vast wildernesses. So I think in that regard, I think maybe the Bigfoot down here in the Pacific Northwest are maybe a little bit more used to humans, or used to seeing them a little bit more. Maybe they're, I don't want to say trained, but maybe they have just been used to seeing them. Maybe that's passed on from generation to generation. Just, you know, leave the humans alone, don't bother them. Maybe something like that's being passed down to them from an early age. Versus Alaska and further up north, there's more vast space for them to be up there. If they don't want to be around humans, and they certainly don't have to be, and that means that encounters between humans and Bigfoot are a little bit more rare up there. So possibly when they come into contact, the Bigfoot up there are a little less tolerant of humans because they don't see them as much. Maybe they, you know, recognize them a little bit more of a threat up there than they would down here, where there's more of them and they see them a little bit more often. And the second factor is resources. You know, if you see, you know, up in Alaska, a lot of people hunt, a lot of people fish. You know, it happens at a certain time of the year, and you know, I think it's a version of resource guarding. You know, they see the humans taking the fish, they see the humans taking the animals, and you know, that might invoke an aggressive response in a Bigfoot that sees it as its territory and its resources being threatened.
Hey, Marshall, it's definitely been here for a while.
So where we're at right now is what used to be the officers' housing for the radar base. So there was a bunch of little homes all scattered through here, and this is where the officers lived. And I think the houses were eventually donated to Kettle Falls back in the day, once the military left. So this is one of my second camp spots. We were camped back here one time, and we heard loud vocalizations, like a screaming roar. We've heard wood knocks from this way. We've also heard something running along the tree line. We've heard a couple knocks in this direction. And when we were camping here, we kept hearing a coyote over in that direction, just howling away. So my buddy started doing a wounded rabbit call, you know, and he did it like, I don't know, like 12 times, and the coyote started imitating that sound over and over and over. So not everything is made by Bigfoot.
hot, tired, and disappointed from not finding any new evidence. The group returns to camp only to embark on another adventure.
I find this road up there, and it's obviously an animal path.
It'd be kind of fun to watch the camp from up here.
And back in there is where I heard the knocks.
Back in there?
Yeah.
Bigfoot's so stealthy. You think he practices trail discipline? Doesn't go the same way twice. All right, Will, what are we doing? Where are we at?
Shit, I don't know. We're on this road, what looks like a road, up from our camp. We've been hearing wood knocks up here, and we found a road. And you found some interesting stuff on the... We found trees broken and blocking the trail, but you're the one who found the interesting pattern on it.
Yeah, so all the trees that we found across the trail, they all had a piece of bark stripped off of them, almost in the same spot in all of them, and almost the same size piece. It's kind of weird, almost like a little signature or something maybe, or it was done by the same implement. It's a completely healthy tree, just pushed over, broken in half. I mean, there's plenty of other trees here that are of similar size, they're smaller or bigger, and none of them are broken over. So I don't think it's a snow load issue. I mean, it looked like it was brute force, just pushed it over. Hey, Will, you got your FLIR?
Yeah.
You said red's hot, right? Or orange? I think we got sunset in like half an hour, less than a half hour.
Oh yeah, but then we got, so maybe we should turn around at sunset. Yeah.
Isn't it sunset?
Well, then you got light. You know, you got residual light.
Not in here. Not in deepest, darkest Squatchovania.
It's definitely a wide enough trail for something large to move easily and quietly.
Yeah. I mean, looking up on this hill from the campsite, I was imagining them sneaking through all that brush and
Yeah, me too.
and you know, dead branches on the ground and leaves and duff on the floor. But up here, you know, this road's pretty compact. I mean, I'm a big guy and I can walk pretty silently through here.
Well, the last time I was camping here and we were hearing the knocks and stuff like that, I thought there was maybe like more than one, you know, because it was like coming from different locations. But this road here would make it really easy for something to move through. Can you imagine the force it would take to break that?
I think you would have to push and pull.
Check this out. Would those be claw marks?
1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, Will.
It's a little small for a bear.
Look up there. How tall are you?
6'2".
So that's a little over 7 foot.
Wouldn't be out of range of a 6 foot black bear.
No.
But I don't know black bears break, you know?
I mean, I guess a bear could... Well, there's no claw marks on this tree, Will.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I've seen a bear climb up in a tree and it break with the weight of the bear, but...
Can you shine your light over here again, Marshall?
Yeah.
So we got some claw marks right here, and then some up there. All these lower limbs that are broke.
As he slid down.
Yeah. And you would think all this would be broken if a bear pushed in, you know, to claw that shit out of that. Just my thought. And I mean, I'm not seeing any, I don't know how old that is.
I mean, it's definitely not fresh.
A little sappy, but
Well, bears, they don't have thumbs, so it would be like 5 right in a row.
right, now look at that. Except my fingers, my pinky was a little longer.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That's just weird.
Look at that claws.
I'm getting a little paranoid. What do you want?
One thought.
One thought.
Let's say something digs in, push off to break this tree. Or
I don't know. Those are the deepest gouges right there, I think.
yeah.
Maybe we need to check this down tree here really well to see if there's any marks on it. And maybe, I mean, if you're grabbing it, you know, like this, they might be on the underside.
Right.
Sounds like a good job for Aaron.
Check the underside of the tree.
Yeah.
So Aaron right now is examining the tree that is broken to see if there's any kind of indications of claw marks, if a possible bear climbed up on it, or anything that looks like the marks on the tree with the claw marks. You know what I'd be curious about? Those other trees that are down, if there's any more markings like that on any of the other trees nearby.
Look on our way out.
Because I've seen tons of bear markings. You know, I've never been able to match my fingers up with it, you know.
Bears don't like leave one, you know.
No.
I mean, they look like a cat on a scratching post.
And there's usually one here from front. You know.
Well, also all the bear's claws are on. You know, he's got 5 like that.
Yeah.
This is that 5th mark is off to the side like an opposable thumb.
Any markings on it?
No. There was one kind of sap mark.
Explain it off the top of my head. I mean, it doesn't really match the markings of a bear. The tree's just broken halfway up. It's a pretty good sized tree. It would take a lot of force to do that.
Hey Aaron, we're gonna go re-examine those other trees real quick.
Sounds good. Here's just honeycombed with little side trails going up the hill. We've got this trail. It's just a labyrinth of trails and game trails, and it's pretty impressive, the amount of room, space back here.
Okay, looks like I got claw marks right here on the broken one.
So what do you think, Will? You think we got a bear that just likes to push trees down and block trails?
It's always possible, but the claw marks just don't look like a bear. I mean, they're I hate to say it, they look like a hand, you know, with a thumb.
So we've examined some more of the trees that we found across the trail, and they've all got similar claw marks on them. And some of them not as many as 5. I think this one had like 2, but it's pretty bizarre. I mean, is it a bear that likes to push trees down over trails? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. There's a lot of other trees around for them to push down. They don't all have to be over the trail.
Where's that? Yeah, that takes some snaps. They could
Yeah,
have.
there's another one right there. But that one doesn't go over the road or anything. So.
Yeah.
We should check out the trees that block the path at the bottom.
I mean, there's should have been like a. Cats will do the same thing. Cats will sharpen their claws on a tree too, you know. But I still wouldn't have. I still wouldn't have that pattern.
How's that?
I heard heavy breathing, which gave me the chills right up my spine.
Really?
Yeah,
Just now?
when I was a little ways up there.
Have you ever heard that before?
While you were up there, we heard the branch breaking. Yeah, I heard that. That's what.